I thought you wanted to.
Good evening,
Okay.
good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. If I didn't start this, God knows, crap knows, and hell knows it was never going to start. This evening's scene. I'm okay. I'm okay. Sorry. This evening's scene is going to be set at the Clockwork Tea Shop, the known Aetheryte hangout where mages of various different long divisions come to express their thoughts and opinions of the day. Much like, I don't know, mages do, one would suppose. So we shall do proverbial intros on the order of my screen. So one will assume that Luke exists in the tea house because he always seems to. Finger guns.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know Luke, he's a 16-year-old boy, brown hair, blue eyes, wearing typical teenager stuff. He's going around making foodstuffs and getting drinks ready and stuff like that. Right now, the shop has been set for mages only sort of thing, so all the normies are gone. So no muggles.
Goddamn muggles. All right, so Tiger / or Kim, whoever would like to go first. Finger guns.
Oh, I guess I'm going first. All right. So Nathan is walking around London. He's getting a feel for his surroundings because he hasn't really gotten a chance to yet. The Clockwork Tea Shop and is filled with equal feelings of delight and rage. Delight that someone else appreciates clockwork, and rage that someone is aping its style. So he will walk in.
So very steampunky. There are actual clocks on the wall as well as gears that are twisting together, giving it a very steampunk mechanical feel to it. We're just about to close up for a private party. Is there anything I can help you with?
He looks around at all the clocks and everything. And I'm gonna roll perception crafts clockwork to see if these clocks are good or not.
Okay.
I'm killing him again, apparently. Sorry, guys. I should have switched over.
I want to see this.
I have mechanical aptitude. Does that apply in this case?
No,
Please,
unfortunately. But I want you to get high enough. So I was going to say yes.
I mean,
this is going to be real funny.
Alright, so it does or it doesn't?
Yeah, it'll apply. Go ahead. Because I want you to get a good amount of successes. You rolled in general, by the way.
I only got one.
Damn.
Oh yeah, you're right. Whatever.
These are really, 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 really nice clocks. Really nice clocks. I wish you would have gotten higher because it would have been hilarious.
He's gonna let out a small huff, saying, "I could do better," but under his breath. And
question: do you have any history or academics on your sheet that pertain to clocks?
No, but I do have cross clockwork. I have. No, I just have cross clockwork.
Yeah, that won't work. That won't work to give you another roll.
I have Gematria.
What is that?
It's basically let's changelings know assisting a magic thing.
It's the Knocker one, where they know how to work out fucking depths and shit.
That might actually work. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Intelligence or
intelligence.
Scholarly applicable?
Yes.
Don't forget to write the right room.
I mean, my mechanical aptitude still apply or no?
Not on this one. No.
Okay. Well, I want to exploit the 10, but I got 2 successes.
That's actually enough on this kind of roll. Every clock in this place has been lost. Like, literally, you've heard about these clocks vanishing. Either
Oh,
they've been lost in some kind of accident, or they've been lost in a building falling down, or they've been lost in a fire, or lost in some kind of overthrow. But you swear that every clock here was a clock that has been lost in history.
He's going to squint at Lucas. Yeah, I was curious how you came about these clocks. I'm a bit of a clocks man.
My mom's quite a collector.
Oh, really? He's going to go over to a random clock and pull it off. So she was on the Titanic then.
Briefly.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of people were.
All right, we should go ahead and let somebody else come in. So.
At this point, because I was next in the queue, oh god, this is going to go wrong. This is going to go really wrong. At this point, the men's room door will open because I proverbially enter via the men's room into this establishment. At this point, as I say, Xavier will enter. You know, Nathan will hear the kind of click hiss of his respirator. As soon as he sees the fact that there's somebody he doesn't know in the room, however, he'll immediately pull the hood down heavily over his head so that his features are obscured. And, kind of, make it so that you cannot see the hilarious disfigurement that is his face.
Luke's going to wave to Xavier and say, "Can I get you a cup of tea or something to eat? The party's about to start soon." And we can go and have Bellic walk in, because I think Bellic actually knows Nathan, so that makes this even better.
At this point, Bellic will probably be strolling by and seeing a tea shop will proceed to enter.
Basically what I described, so, yeah.
Unless someone attempts to stop him.
Nope.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'll just walk in, take a seat.
All right. Luke will walk over to Bellic with a menu and say, "Can I get you anything to drink?"
Glass of milk, please.
Of course. Take a look. I'm serving all the patisseries for right now, and I do have a working kitchen in the back if you need anything more sustenance.
Thank you very much.
You actually recognize this kid. He was at the SOE Chantry when you showed up, and he was helping people get settled in.
Oh, okay. I will have to bail in about 30 minutes. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Let's keep going.
At this point, Lily walks in. She sees like somebody handling the clocks off. Just like, not cool. But okay.
Yeah, you know what else isn't cool? Stealing priceless clocks from horrible tragedies. Like this one, he'll point out another one. Chicago Great Fire, 1871. I recognize it anywhere.
If you don't mind, sir, this is a private function. If you would mind, please leaving.
Have I seen either of these people before?
I don't know if you've actually seen Nathan or not before.
I feel like they've crossed paths in a social.
Yeah.
But like you don't know Lily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, as I say, Xavier's very much keeping his head down so you can't see his face because science.
Private function for a bunch of clock. The Bellic.
Ah! How are you?
Hey, I'm glad to see you made it out.
It was close.
Luke's gonna look at Nathan and then gonna look at Bellic and say, "Is he one of the ones from Hong Kong?"
Yes, his friend. Please come sit.
Okay.
Nice. In that case,
Nathan
sorry, continue on, Tiger.
Nathan will put the clock back on the wall very gingerly and then walk over and sit down next to Bellic.
In that case, Xavier will say, he'll walk over. He once again keeping his head angled towards the ground. You will hear the click click as he breathes. I would ask that while you are in this establishment, please refrain from calling it its inhabitants or its ownership thieves. Please and thank you.
He just didn't know that Mom rescued them is all, before they could be completely destroyed.
I see. He will very calmly, using his ocular computer, write a small little text message to Luke, basically saying, "We don't know who this person is, comma. Please do not give out too much information as it pertains to our society. Thank you."
Luke will look down at his pad, nod, and send back a K.
By the way, Lily's carrying a pink box.
Oh, did Mom place another order?
No, I was just bringing some along because he said you never got to try my treats, so she'll set the box on a table and open it up, and there's these cream puff pastries with a pink powdered sugar on top and multicolored cream on the inside.
Luke's saying, once I get everybody settled, I'll be happy to try one. He's going to look at Nathan. Can I get you tea, soda, coffee, water? He's going to set down Belloq's milk.
Water, please. I'm sorry. I get very touchy about clocks, so when I see a bunch of clocks that have gone missing from history, it's not good.
At this point, Xavier will hold out his hand to Belloq in a kind of a form of greeting, and he will say, yes, the chairman or the chair told me about you. You came through with the Hong Kong group, yes?
Yes. It's a pleasure to meet you.
He'll shake your hand. You'll notice that there's kind of a metal support on his hand, running over it to kind of keep it. It looks like it's keeping it functioning in a weird way.
Mm.
But he'll say, "A pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Xavier Rathholm, a professor in the SOE. I hope that you find London to your liking."
The fact that I found London at all is to my liking. I am Belloq Tipa. It's a pleasure. And Belloq will pick up the glass of milk, briefly whisper over it, and dip his little finger or his ring finger in and flick once at the ceiling, once outward away from everyone at the table, and then once at the floor.
Luke will come back with a. You'll see him pull a big thing of bottled water out, take a cup, put some ice in it, put the water in it, and then bring it over and set it down in front of Nathan. He's going to set down a menu in front of him as well. It'll take a little while for me to prepare anything from the kitchen, but I have pastries ready if you prefer.
I'm not hungry.
Oh, okay. Xavier, your usual?
Xavier will nod. Thank you, Luke.
Luke will go off and grab the tea, and he said, "Are you sure you don't want to try? I baked some Napoleons today."
I'm not hungry. Thank you.
I will have one.
Sorry.
He will go and carve out a Napoleon for Belloq, and then look at Lily. I know that you prefer to eat your own food, but I did make these Napoleons fresh if you would like one.
I appreciate the gesture, but I would have to get to know you a little better before I accept anything.
No, not his head. Unfortunately, they're not as brightly colored as your food is, though, and he'll bring over the Napoleon for Belloq with a spoon and a knife in case you want to vary up how you eat it. And he's going to look at Xavier. Napoleon?
For the record, Luke will know that Xavier never eats in public because it's very he'll drink. He drinks through an apparatus. So yeah,
etiquette that he won't say anything. Yeah. He'll bring over Xavier's tea for him.
Xavier will nod, setting the tea down on the table, and he will say, "Do forgive me, Mr. Belloc addressed you as Nathan, yes?
Nathan,
My apologies if I seem somewhat prickly. I'm led to understand that you are also a survivor of the exodus from Hong Kong. Well, I am also pleased that you
What
find...
kind of story is all about that?
I'll look at he'll look and say, fun? No. Interesting? Yes.
It's true. It's funny because it's true.
Interesting. As I have said, you are currently in our establishment, so you are our guest. Please have our hospitality such as it is.
He'll nod.
By the
So
way,
you're in
because
the know.
this might really interest Nathan, as he looks into his eyes, both of my eyes, and you will come to see it, have minute, and I mean infinitesimally small, but they're basically clockwork-powered eyes.
He'll kind of squint into your eyes. Like he's trying to get a close look.
As I say, when he kind of pulls back the hood, you'll see the kind of monstrous kind of blah that is his face.
He's focused on the clockwork, and he'll kind of point at the left one. Here's a little out of tune on it.
I see. One moment, please. Xavier will very calmly reach up, press his temple, and the eye will physically out of its socket mooring.
Luke will say, Xavier, Mom said you're not supposed to play with your cybernetics at the table.
Yes. I, however, do not wish to upset our guest if my eye is indeed out of temporal or rhythmic alignment.
That is a very interesting trick.
Yes.
He had some unfortunate experiences. And Luke's just going to leave it there and then go back behind the counter.
He'll recalibrate. Sorry, go ahead, Tiger.
Nathan will just kind of nod and say, yeah, I've been there. And then he'll like thump on the back of his head and his glass eye will pop out.
Lily looks slightly appalled.
He'll close his eye really quick so nobody sees into the ocular cavity. Plus he doesn't want bugs flying in there or something.
Luke's going to take a cream puff and try it and say, these are really, really good.
Oh yeah, they're freaking fantastic. Is her response. Also, Americans, your table manners are so rude.
Bellic's not American.
Belloc hasn't been rude.
Fair enough.
I'm also not American.
Xavier's British. He's not American.
I think she was exclusively referring to Nathan.
Yeah, like, because Xavier is still standing and not sitting at the table.
True. He will recalibrate his eye very slightly and pop it back into its place and blink twice. And he will say, Now, Miss Lily. This gentleman is our guest. We must allow him some levity.
Not really.
Luke's going to look at Bella. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Levity has healing properties. Perhaps he feels very sick. Cough. Cough.
Luke's going to ask Belloc if he likes the taste of the Napoleon.
It's very good, thank you.
You'll notice that the mirror glaze on top, that's the white and black with the line through it, the white and brown with the line through it, is basically on the same level as an expert pastry chef.
Nice.
Also, so how long have you two been magic?
Oh. 10, no, 5 years.
Not long.
Bellic has a big puppy. You're gonna hear that from Luke.
I did not know if the establishment allowed pets. I left Kadarshi outside.
But you
Well,
can,
this is a private party, so you could bring your puppy in if you want.
All right,
If you would just mind, please keeping him away from the food preparation area.
of course. Bellic will go to the door and open it, and a massive dog will like plop in. Come here, puppy.
By the way, because he has I made the requisite rolls. A tiny, like, I mean, Nathan, if you're still looking at it, will probably see it. There's like a little, almost like a lens slides into place over one of the eyes, just as I activate my spirit sight. That's just how he does it. So obviously Bellic and Lily both ping as mage. What does Nathan look like?
it's got rainbows.
I don't think this character has ever seen a rainbow aura before, so he's going to kind of be very bemused by it.
As for colors, well, I mean, it's kind of hard through all the rainbows, but you focus. He's just kind of generally amused.
So I would love to hear a story of you two getting into shenanigans.
Unfortunately, I was very well behaved.
I mean, I just went there for a wedding, and then I found out that I was stuck there.
That seems unfortunate.
It was. Especially because I was late to the wedding by a couple months.
Oh
Mom said you guys were trapped in some kind of interspatial fluxure, something having to do with differentiations in quantum and molecular singularity.
Yes, many words like that were used. Many of them. None of them I understand.
Essentially, in order to paraphrase Luke, you were being kept in a bubble that was being kept suspended in its own concentrated space-time around which there was a delineated energy that would destroy you upon contact.
This is paraphrase. Yeah, I mean, that sounds accurate. What I understood of it.
Society being clear, we cannot paraphrase.
I never tried it myself, but I have it on good authority that, yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
That's what I was told. So I was very well behaved. Except for that one time.
What one time?
The one time I went to the land of the dead.
Ah, I see. Interesting. But if nothing else, that this field that the technocracy created, it must have been a huge drain on their manpower and resources. So, as a matter of fact, in its destruction, you may have hit a major blow in the Ascension War. Thank you.
All I know is I lost everything I own except Kadarshi and this. And he like knocks on his chest. And there's a faint thunk.
Oh,
Everything else I
see.
had.
I was led to understand that society were providing what limited acclimen we could in order to get you resituated. We were doing that, weren't we, Luke?
Luke will nod. However, he didn't ask for much, except for a place to stay and connect with the other mages. Did you ever find your way to the Grove?
Not yet.
Okay. At which point, Luke will pull out something and write something down, and he'll hand it over to Bellic. And it's a telephone number, and it says Grandpa on it.
Thank you very much.
I don't know what they're really called, but they always tell me to call them Grandpa and Grandma.
Oh.
So
They are, I should warn you, rather pleasant yet insular. Just be aware.
Thank you.
They have sticks up their asses even for British people, is what he's saying.
I didn't hear what you said, Kim.
Lily will say they have sticks up their asses even for British people. That's what he's saying.
Thank you.
More so that they very much value their privacy and the keeping of their habitat. But yes, I suppose your phrasing could be apt.
Oh yeah, you won't find any litter bugs near their grove. They don't last long. But transients are promptly taken care of, fed, then their memories erased, and then they're set on their way.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Luke's gonna grab another cream puff and eat it.
If you wouldn't mind me asking, what are you from?
No.
To both of you.
Oh, okay.
If you don't wish to share the information, I understand. I find that information to be very personal to me.
I'm a fairy.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What are you, sir?
Oh, I'm Chauvin.
What's your belief in fairies?
She's very clearly from Ireland. It's just like, yeah, she takes salt shaker and just kind of makes her run between you and her.
Luke's
That
gonna
doesn't
clap.
work. Some of us it does.
She's just like, you can see her internally freaking out. She's like, oh my god, the fairy, he's gonna like kidnap me and harvest my organs or some, like, she is freaking out right now.
Interesting. It has been. So you are, in fact, a proto-anosmic personification of the living human diaphora of absentee thought. Amusing.
Yes, I'm a creator of the dream.
Huh.
Are you okay, miss?
She just,
Nathan's not going to dispel the thing. This is the second thing she's managed to convince that he does horrible things, that he's not what he actually is, and it's just funny to him.
If it helps, remember you totally bathe in virgin blood and are the pretty one of the fairies. And I can't remember what the third one was, but it was fucking weird. If it helps,
I
miss.
heard rumors, but I never actually thought you existed.
Oh, so your magic exists, but fairy magic can't? That's how it goes.
Inherently, if you think about it, they are in fact just the inverse of our practice. We do because the consensus allows us, thus we practice. They do because the consensus wish it could happen, thus it happens. Fascinating thought, no?
That's interesting.
Oh, and I should probably iterate. Mr. Tevia, or Tavia? Tevia? How do we pronounce this? Tiva, thank you. Mr. Tiva here is the exact same as you or I. He is an enlightened individual.
I prefer the term speaker. I speak with things.
Luke is going to bring over a bowl with dog treats in them and is going to ask Bellic if it's okay.
Of course.
Luke's going to set down the dog treats and say, have as many as you want.
Bellic's going to pet Kadarshi and go, he means it.
And suddenly there were no more dog treats.
Ever. All of them. I find, and he gestures kind of at Xavier. I find you interesting.
If one may ask why.
Because of you understand the things that I do not understand.
Ah,
The large words and the intricate, and he like kind of points vaguely at your eyes and or your hand, excuse me. And the everything, really, just at the everything.
at the everything.
At the every, just kind of like,
It's like kind of like this.
yeah. Interesting things. Intriguing. No offense.
Thank you, sir. No, it's quite all right. The society teaches us in order to broaden our minds so that we may understand concepts. And sometimes when one understands concepts, one needs to create words for concepts that humanity itself does not yet grasp. So we tend to create our own words that are used entirely within the society as entities.
That is completely the opposite of what I do, and yet so strikingly similar. I use the words that humanity has forgotten.
Ah, I see. How very interesting. I'm a scholar of dead languages myself. I would love to learn what it is you may have to teach.
Oh, none of my
Lily,
language. Go ahead.
sorry. Lily isn't really talking. She's just kind of staring at Nathan, watching him do anything. Like, viciously when he goes to drink out of the bottle of water.
Luke's gonna ask Lily if she wants a chamomile.
No, I'm fine. It's okay.
At this point, Xavier will raise his tea to his. He kind of raises it to the mask, and I have to make just a quick roll. Una momento. Going to extend that roll. Yes, going to re-roll that at a diff 4 because spend a willpower to re-roll that at diff 4 because.
Actually, those were 2 1s, and one's negate.
Yeah, no, that's my point. That's why I was spending the willpower to re-roll at a higher diff because that would have been a fail and it would have made me sad. So yeah, that's enough. Basically, you'll see he holds the tea for a moment. He passes a kind of an elliptical beam over it from the back from his hand, and you see the tea basically turn to vapor that he will inhale before placing it down on the table. It is the only way I can consume liquids that is not displeasing for those to watch.
Felix suddenly has an idea that flashes across his eyes, and
Oh, God.
then he continues about his business.
Luke's is going to be working on the coffee machine, just like cleaning the spigots and things.
So, I have a question. Do you have to have permission to enter a person's personal home? Or is that?
I mean, I don't, but it's light. I tried to not just break in places. That's just kind of rude. Unless they're assholes.
London has no shortage of those, I assure you.
I mean, like, huge assholes, like, blessed me with hellfire my first night in Hong Kong. Level asshole.
London has no shortage of those, I assure you.
Interesting. Well, it was very pleasurable to make your acquaintances. I wish to carry on conversation at another time. I have ideas. You, and he points again at Xavier, you inhale everything, yes?
Mostly what it is I choose to ingest, but yes, particularly when I'm in public.
Lily will give her card to her, like 2 cards out on the table. You need any cakes decorated? Let me know.
I love cakes.
She's got one of the best bakeries in the entire city, if not in all the boroughs.
Noted. Once I'm more properly settled, perhaps we'll call upon you for a housewarming.
Oh, do you possess a cellular phone, Mr. Tevia, or however he pronounces it? Everyone will get it eventually.
Yes, and he will like pull a piece of paper out of his pocket, and it's kind of crumpled, and he'll uncrumple it, and he'll grab a pen from another pocket, and he'll just write his number on it and lay it on the table in full view of everyone, and then put the pen away.
Once again,
Luke will say,
you go
Luke
ahead,
will
Brett.
say, you have the number for the house on Bannerman Road, right? The chantry you appeared at.
Yes. Thank you.
Just making sure. Mom's always happy to help.
I appreciate that.
Yes, we have said that we will happily help any of our brothers and sisters recently arrived from Hong Kong. Xavier will reach down. A similar beam, kind of the same color, he'll pass it over the just kind of. He basically just scanned the number and entered it into his database.
Cool.
I'm very curious about you, Nathan.
Thanks.
I would like to speak to you more about. So just gesture at him.
Oh, one last thing that Luke's gonna do. He's gonna put together some more dog treats in a bag for Belloc to go.
Oh, thank you. And he'll like reach into his pocket and like pull out some cash.
Oh, Luke will wave his hand. No, you're fine.
Oh, thank you very much. Here, at least take this. And he'll reach into another pocket and pull out what looks like an old pouch. And he'll untie the 3 knots that are around it and open it up and peek inside it. And he'll take a sprig of some oddball little plant and thrust it out very awkwardly.
He'll take it very gingerly and say, "Thank you."
You're very welcome. It's for burning.
Okay. He's going to take it and put it in a little sleeve for like cookies and something. He's going to put it in there and roll it up very carefully, then put it in his pocket. I can't wait to. I'll burn this when I get home tonight.
Very good. Very good.
But yes, if you require anything, you only have to contact the Chantry. We're quite happy to help those get settled. Where are you staying at the moment? Because I'm led to understand you left the Bannerman Road house.
Yes, I have been sleeping among the, what do you call them? The people, the ones with no homes.
The transients.
Homeless, yes, that's it, that's it. English is such a funny language. I have a hard time with it sometimes.
Are you comfortable in that situation?
They're very lovely people once you express interest in healing hurts.
Actually,
Luke just smiles and says, "I think you're going to get along really well with Grandma and Grandpa."
Eventually, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Eventually, I will acquire a new space, but for now, it works. It works. It keeps me understanding where I am needed most.
What kind of space did you occupy in Hong Kong?
Gare. And he like gestures Like a marshmallow with a pointed top. It
A
was,
yurt.
yes, that. Yes.
Ah.
Anyhow,
He says, leave it with me and meet me at. He'll give an address tomorrow. I may be able to acquire you a new yurt.
thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And he will get up, grab the dog, and they will leave.
Bye, Mitchell. See you later.
Bye.
So Luke's going to look at Nathan. He's going to say, "Are you with the people up in the North Boroughs?"
Yep.
I was told not to go up there.
It's probably a good idea. They're a little paranoid right now.
Luke's going to come over and freshen up Nathan's water. Did you think of anything you might want to eat?
No, I'm still good.
Okay.
I will offer a little bit of advice in the future. Luke's introduced himself, right?
What?
That was fun. As Luke introduced himself, because I may have just looked up.
I can't remember. What did you say?
Has Luke introduced himself yet to Nathan?
No, he hasn't. So.
Okay. He'll just say, I will offer you a little bit of advice. When people ask for bottled water, usually because they are not used to the different water from different countries and stuff.
Oh.
So whenever you put these ice cubes.
Oh, sorry. Luke will run back and grab a regular bottle of water, bring it out, and take the glass away.
Oh no, you're okay. I'm just saying in the future. So, yeah.
I don't get a lot of people in here from other countries, so.
I will also point out, you can tell he doesn't like calling people by their first names, but he only knows your first name, so he will eventually say, Nathan, that the water supply in this place does not come from the main supply. We have our own private reservoir that we draw from. It's safer that way.
But most people don't know that.
Yeah, keeps people from, jumping in and surprising us.
What do you do as a fairy? Like, what is your job as a fairy?
I mean, I mostly make clocks.
So confounded right now.
That's interesting. I also used to make clocks.
It's good business.
I did it more as a hobby, but yes.
Hey, are you here to work on Big Ben? I heard they're closing it down.
You want to roll puke states?
I'm gonna roll my willpower real quick.
Botch, for all that is holy, botch.
One success.
One success. Nathan's okay.
Yep.
No, his hands will shake very violently for a couple seconds, and he'll just kind of grab the table and take a deep breath. Yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
Oh.
I'm sure you'll do a great job.
I was led to understand that those were all given out by government contract. You must truly know someone in the know.
Nope, I don't.
What are you planning to do? Just break in one night?
Yes.
Oh no.
You know that that's the Houses of Parliament?
No.
Well, it is.
I mean, that's fine. I said so, not no. I mean, that's fine. But I am sneaky.
So, it is your intention to break into the Houses of Parliament, climb to, I believe, the 30th or 40th story mark in the Houses of Parliament, one of the most heavily watched security censored, and in otherwise impenetrable buildings on the planet to fix a clock.
For free, yes.
Luke's just gonna say, I mean, it's not like kids sneak in there all the time. So
Yes, but when we sneak in there, it generally involves us stopping time.
no, I mean, high school kids, they break away from their tours and they go sneaking off to try to find something they can steal.
Really? That's a thing.
It's not a common
Kids these days have no respect.
Look, they're saying it's going to take about 4 years for it to get fixed, and I'm fairly sure I can knock that down to 1 if I'm not trying too hard.
You know, little cocky, aren't you?
Nope.
Could just be that good. I mean, he did recognize these clocks.
We did have a
So-
nightmare going through to get some of them.
Luke's gonna nod and say, "Didn't you go with Mom to get the Glockenspiel before it got thrown into
Yes.
Hitler's?"
Yes. He will point at a very noticeable dent in his upper leg plate and he'll say, and needless to say, Nazi firearms, though incredibly inaccurate, hurt.
Luke will nod. Mom never took me on any of those runs.
She will when you awaken.
He'll nod and he'll go back to working on the stuff in the store.
Here,
Bit of a
take
weird
your time.
question, but one I should probably ask, Brad, because I've known Luke for a fuck ton of years. Is it a sore point for him that he is not awoken, or is he okay with the fact?
On the surface, he's okay, but there's something underneath that makes him think there's something wrong with him. And the fact
Okay,
that he
cool.
doesn't age doesn't help either, or doesn't apparently
Yeah.
age. So
Cool. Yeah, no, because I'm going to say Xavier's opinion then is he'll constantly be doing things like, you're going to do this, it's just a matter of time, so kind of like building him up, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does.
If you don't like the colorful ones, she'll remove the top layer of paint pastries, to where it's like gray and black pastries.
We'll take one of the pink ones and lunch on it.
Really freaking good pastry. This is it could be a knocker level of craftsmanship put into a pastry.
But in order to foster good relations between your organization, is that the correct word? I don't know how you organize yourself.
We'll go with organization. That works.
Excellent. And our own, if you do require help in your Big Ben plan in a minor way, for example, getting in and out, we are happy to help.
I appreciate it, but I think I can handle it myself.
Yeah, actually it would be pretty easy. Just go into a realm of a different existence and pop back inside.
Well, existence is transitory, I suppose. Oh, one thing. Do you let your people know that it is not safe to walk around in the tubes alone? Especially now. A friendly warning.
I'll blink a couple times. You mean the subway?
Yes. The underground.
Subway that is so tight that the tube barely, like the actual subway barely fits in through the tunnels.
It does at certain points, it widens at others, but yes.
I
think-
mean, I'll pass on the information, but I don't think that's I think that's kind of known.
Luke's just gonna say, I think Mom narrowed it to the third subjunction under Charing Cross.
Excellent. It is more a matter of there are a number of entities that are known to frequent the tubes, the disused stations, and the unused lines. It's not a good place to be.
I'm still saying, people that disappeared. Just
Yes, well, I would personally much rather know other people disappeared until it is time that we have the ability to go and deal with the damn thing.
Oh my goodness. Would all the clocks be perfectly in time?
yes, all the clocks are perfectly in time. Yes.
So many questions to ask you. I don't even know where to get started.
I just don't.
But is it true that you're ravagingly sexual like in the history books?
I mean, I'm not.
I know this one guy named Canthos.
I'll actually say, like, I know this one dude, though. Ugh.
Huh.
Almost had him boning on my countertop the other night.
But that's so rude.
I know.
Why would
What do you mean? Luke's just going
I don't know,
confused.
cold.
You mean he was
That's
taking
not
bones and beating them on your cabinet?
Luke,
He'll like go look at Luke. He
Luke,
really wants. He really wants.
open the Urban Dictionary, cross-reference boning.
I'm not allowed to access that.
You're
Mom has certain filters on my electronics. But on the plus side, I'm almost done with my Luke quantum gravity computations in regards to verifying superstring theory.
Oh my goodness, Luke.
It's just gonna look at Luke and say coitus.
Oh, Mom said I'm not ready for that.
You're 17 years old.
16.
I don't know. Okay, you're 16 years old. I don't know
Don't rush.
many teenage boys who haven't.
Fucking rush me. Don't do it when you're ready.
I know that, but it's so weird to see a boy this age.
Luke's just going to smile and say, yes, but most boys my age haven't created measurable matter-antimatter collisions in a centrifuge. So,
Look, being clever is all well and good, but sometimes you just need to go outside and meet a girl.
I meet plenty of girls.
What he said. That
They're
aren't of your. She doesn't want to say the word out loud. That aren't of the bunkhouse.
well, I tutor plenty of girls.
This is child living porno. I didn't even realize it.
Mom says
She'll look at Xavier.
Mom's good. Mom says that tutoring girls and boys my own age is helpful in my brain is not working well tonight. Is helpful in establishing good social interaction skills.
Xavier's going to do a quick mental computation. He's going to ask Luke for a beverage that will require him, that he knows will require him to go into the back room and be busy for about 3 to 5 minutes.
Italian soda.
Excellent. He will say, Luke, would you please get me an Italian soda?
Orange, raspberry, blood orange, cherry, lemon, lime, or
Surprise.
strawberry. Suicide it is, and he's going to walk into the back room.
Allow me to make this perfectly transparently clear. And Xavier's, he hasn't dropped his normal polite kind of posture, but he's kind of like, kind of grr, and he says, asking Luke questions like that and pointing out the social points is not a good idea. I would ask you, please do not do it again. The boy has enough on his mind without you making him feel even more different than I have no doubt he already feels. And I would ask you to please leave that topic and not discuss it again. Are you amenable to this?
Did you say please?
I did say please.
You did not actually say the word please. And
My apologies.
as in,
Would you be amenable to this, please?
yes.
Thank you. As I should inform you, if you do upset him, it is not me you will have to deal with, it is the chair, and she does not like it when her son is upset.
It's almost like he's a child with mood swings, and expressing their emotions is a healthy psychological thing.
Luke is a special child, and I emphasize that.
That doesn't mean my point doesn't stand.
You are entitled to your opinion, madam.
All right, Luke is going to walk back in, carrying a glass that looks completely clear. He's then going to set it down in front of Xavier, take a spoon, tap it against the glass, and it's going to swirl, and it's going to be like one of those four-colored pinwheels that just start flowing into each other. Here you go.
Thank you very much, Luke.
He's going to go back to cleaning stuff.
Nathan is going to grab a napkin, pull out, and start writing on it. And kind of doodle. I think one real quick alert to see what he's doodling and writing. I think totally can.
I want to see the doodle. Will the spec eagle-eyed actually apply? Simple.
I mean, I would think so. That's kind of free.
Yeah, I'd say it would apply.
While Lily's looking over this thing, she'll say, your appearance is not what I expected for a changeling.
Yeah, I get that one.
Out of character, she should totally meet Mainu at some point.
That's 2 successes, Tiger, to see what you're drawing.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for Kim to get her roll.
Perception, alertness. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, he success. Okay. So it looks like he has drawn like a little Tesla coil, written "Brethren of Aether" next to it with a couple of question marks.
Sorry, with the couple, he's drawn a Tesla coil with something.
Yeah, and it has Brethren of Aether next to it with a couple question marks.
Very calmly, Xavier will withdraw a pen, and he'll lean over and he'll kind of strike the Brotherhood out, and he'll write Society underneath it.
Ethan will smile and be like, "Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I met one of you, but she was not
Yes.
He kind of like just trails off.
We decided that the Brotherhood was not exactly into the new and gender equalist concept of the time, so we changed it to Society.
That's fair.
Luke's just gonna smile. Mom was a brother.
Yes, she was, and she will never let me forget it. Question: when you drew the Tesla coil, is it like an actual sketch of a Tesla coil, or is it like he actually wrote how you would produce a Tesla coil?
It's just like a very stylized little sketch, like a little doodle of a Tesla coil.
Ah, yes. Are you familiar with the works of Tesla?
Somewhat. I knew, like I said, I knew somebody who affiliated with your group who claimed to be the reincarnation of Nikola Tesla.
Right, that's a pretty big deal from our perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, as long as they don't fuck it up. How much SOE lore do you have?
He only had because I spread out my lowest quite then. He's only got one, but I'll make that roll.
Yeah, make that roll difficulty 8.
I'll make that roll. Holy crap!
Holy shit, man! 3 successes.
4 with the willpower.
There was a woman by the name of Serena Novak, who was an acclaimed scientist, who apparently went bugfuck crazy. And some of her, well, according to real science, she went crazy because some of her theories were out there. It was revealed that that person had then awakened to the Society of Ether and was claiming to be Tesla's reincarnation. However, she hasn't been seen since going to Hong Kong.
Are you perhaps speaking of the personage known as Serena Nova?
Yes. As a certain.
Yes. I read some of her papers, and she was considered to be... He kind of looks at Luke and kind of does the kind of, hand gesture to kind of say a bit iffy, kind of like the movement from side to side.
Luke will nod at that.
Don't get me wrong. There is the saying that genius and madness run hand to hand in the society, but unfortunately I'm led to understand she was rather more one than the other.
Isn't madness common among everybody in any group?
I think it's more so because we bear the epithet of mad scientists.
Luke will speak up and say, Sigmund Freud said that everyone is crazy and that normal is the absence of personality.
I would, however, like to... Oh, sorry, continue talking.
I just talked to her once, and then the last I heard, she was having to have someone get her out of the city because she was planning on handing EMP grenades to gangsters. Or something.
It seems like a misuse of practical science to me, especially if they were full force electronic neutralizing devices.
You know what? This is probably worth it, Brett, because I've just been told oh crap, people are going to arm a bunch of gangsters and then they randomly disappeared. I'm going to send a message to the chair lady saying that she might want to come down here. We may have really bad news.
Sarah Jane's going to message back. What's the news?
One of ours has apparently gone utterly rogue. ... Really badly rogue. ...
You'll get a message back. Oh yeah. Atrian told me about that. He sent her to her home, and I don't know if he's ever left it since. So
He will respond with excellent. It is in hand. Frankly, attempting to sell EMP grenades to gangsters would not end well for anyone involved.
which is why DeSalle sent her home.
Excellent. He'll blink and he'll smile before saying, "It is unfortunate, but yes, as I said, sometimes they veer more towards madness than genius."
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Is it something you're familiar with?
I'll have a non-committal hand gesture.
So, you make clocks for a living, you said?
Yeah.
How very interesting. I would love to see one of your timepieces.
He'll pull out a business card, and it'll say Miles Lewinsky Clockwork on it, and has an address, and he'll say that's my clock shop.
Oh, wonderful. He will take the clock. He will take the business card, scan it, and put it into the inner folds of his red overrobe.
Does Lily get one?
If she wants.
Sure.
Alright.
To look at it. But you said your name was Nathan.
It is?
But this says it's Miles.
Yes.
What?
That's my name too.
How?
He just kind of does like woo.
Many people have different names, my dear. There are many people in London who simply know me as Cypher, because it's a name of convenience.
Like the Pokemon?
There's
Like
a
the code?
Pokemon. Like
No,
the
you're
code,
thinking Scyther. It's Cypher.
Oh, okay.
as
Oh,
in the
okay.
code.
Gotcha.
You said that you would only enter someone's house in order if they were an, I quote, a colossal douchebag, I believe was the phrasing. End quote.
A massive asshole, but same basic
The same
concept.
premise applies. Myself and my organization believe in keeping items of power, be they scientific, occult, etc., out of the hands of the sleeper population, for fear that they might hurt themselves. So we liberate them and then see that they're safely ensconced elsewhere.
Makes sense.
How would they even power these said objects? They don't have the capabilities.
You're right.
No, they don't have the power, but oftentimes items, what we would refer to as wonders, devices, etc., are old and are simply rediscovered rather than made. And the last thing we want is for them to, I don't know, rediscover the Book of the Dead or the Eye of Kemset without us being there in order to try and prevent them from, I don't know, unleashing the plagues of Egypt on the city or some such. I would also like to say, oh, sorry, continue, Kim.
I understand your worry to a degree, but it's not very much possible for humans to enact this magic.
he kind of puts his hand out and shakes it from side to side again to show that you're kind of right and kind of wrong. And he says, sometimes they are literally as idiot-proof as put on the cursed necklace and see what happens.
That's not even accounting for what I've heard about possessed items.
Have you been reading in the forbidden section again?
Maybe.
Just don't let your mother find out.
Okay.
Wait, have you been using my access pass to read in the forbidden sections again?
You really should change it more often.
God damn it!
Xavier just found out that Luke is using Xavier's password to get a hold of some hero he's not supposed to have.
Hey.
Hey.
How many times has your password been your birthday? Far too many. Damn it!
Hey, did you know if you type your password in on Facebook, it comes up as a bunch of asterisks? You should try it.
I remember that meme. Oh god, so many people tried it. Oh. This is an in-character reaction because he said that in character. Hope he said that in character.
Depends on if the previous discussion was in character.
Yeah. The password.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not my fault he keeps using Fibonacci sequences.
I'm now going to have to switch it up to something like ancient Sumerian and then put it into a dithyrambic algorithm. Life. But wait, if you're using my access code, Mr. Smith should know inherently that it's not me who's entering the app. How have you convinced Mr. Smith to let you into the forbidden section?
I gotta roll fugue states thing.
Why?
Smith.
Oh,
Oh.
God, that's right. Luke's just gonna
Okay,
say,
Nathan, you okay?
"Oh God,
We got 4 successes. I'm okay.
yeah, you're
Yay.
perfectly fine." Luke is just gonna say, "Did you know that there is a device that Mom has that allows you to falsify biometrics?"
Of course there is.
So you guys have a device for everything in that little bunker.
Well, when you say a device for everything, I'm not exactly sure what you mean.
He literally just said he can copy somebody else's biometrics with a device.
Yes.
So for anything that would be practical in day-to-day use.
Well, the device he mentioned would only have practical use if you were attempting to fool a biometric scanner, something that identifies an individual via their DNA sequential coding. Other than that, I don't see it being used on a day-to-day basis.
All right, let's let Marcus come on in. Or we can continue on while he's getting set up. Oh, ready, Marcus? All right. So it's a tea shop. Lily's there, Xavier's there, Luke's there, and some guy you've never seen before.
That Lily's keeping a close watch on, like side-eye watch. It's like all the side-eye.
when he does walk in, he's of course running his scan. Is anybody? Can he feel magic in the earth with his awareness roll that's going on right now?
Tiger, are you technically using magic right now?
My eye is a treasure, if that counts.
Yeah. No. Go ahead and roll perception awareness.
Oh, all right. I'll roll my 2 dice.
I will point out, if you succeed on this roll, of course, Xavier lights up like a Christmas tree.
One moment. Keep talking. I gotta do my thing because I gotta find it again.
But yes, I wouldn't say we have a device for everything per se. We create. On a given day, we might decide we want to build something new, and thus we do.
That's how Mom ended up with the super collider in the basement.
Yes. And the dark matter retention sphere in the attic.
Shh, we don't talk about that.
Ah, excellent.
Well, Marcus is still going to get up Lily's got what question she was going to ask.
And if you just sip sad as well.
What was that, Tiger?
Nathan just sipped out his water.
I think we're just waiting for Marcus to get himself ready.
So, in the story, do they actually steal children?
Hold on, think for a second. It's slug, but like, okay. So, the problem is you're generalizing all of us as one group, which is not the case. But yes, some do.
You wish to educate me on the matters of faith, I would not mind.
Knowledge for knowledge.
Sweet. We should find an opportunity to speak privately with him.
Yeah.
Marcus, you forgot the space.
My bad. All right. Still new to this.
Dude, it's okay. I don't know. It might not be okay.
It's okay.
Please, you.
Okay, so you sense magic coming from both Xavier and from the new guy. And the usual wards that protect this place.
If it helps, I bet Tiger is cuddly.
Okay.
Oh, how sweet.
Crap. Okay.
I just realized that's Leo Schreiber. Is that
No,
from
it's
Rick
not.
Donovan? Oh, it isn't?
Nope. It's from Banshee.
Huh.
Carnifex walks in, and he blinks really hard because the influx of magical information is not the same as regular information, at least in my headcanon.
Makes sense.
And he sees, of course, the mask of Red Death, and knows
Oh my-
he knows.
Oh my god, I'm gonna call myself that from now on. Best nickname ever.
And so it's Luke, Lily, some person I don't know, and the mask of Red Death.
Yeah.
Luke, Coke, keep them coming.
Luke will pull out a bottle of regular Coke and set it down right where he's going to sit. Did you want anything?
No, just caffeine.
I made fresh Napoleons.
Yes, he might know you're going to make fresh Napoleons. If he knows you're going to make fresh Napoleons, there could be problems.
He will go and get one for you, bring it over, and set it down with a spoon and a fork.
Lily will also gesture to the pastries that she has brought as well.
What I'm missing meeting for?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is this a war council that I missed a meeting for?
No, just people showing up.
Xavier kind of looks at Luke and cocks his head to the side. He says, "Do we have war council? I don't think we do."
I'm sure at some point we will.
Huh.
Question, because I'm new here.
Can we call them conflicts and... Oh, sorry, continue, Tiger.
Nathan will look at the not new people and wait for them to answer his question.
What? I missed your question. What was it?
What was your question, dude?
I didn't ask a question. Marcus did, so he's looking at the not new people since he's. So.
All right, what was the question, Marcus? I think I missed it.
Who's that guy?
Apparently, he's a fairy.
He's a what?
Not like a gay person, but
Well, I mean, I'm not. But still not the.
At the not a gay person, Acanthos is just kind of forcing himself not to facepalm. You can actually see the hand visibly
Not
shaking.
Canthos.
Oh, Xavier, shit. I cannot be Canthos. Sorry, I've been Canthos like all day. Go fuck yourself.
He has said earlier that he himself is not a sexual person at all.
Not in this scene.
Yeah, this because she
No.
specifically.
I'm facepalm. He was gonna. Xavier was gonna facepalm because of the "oh, he's not a fairy in a gay way" comment. It was just like.
He's apparently the best clocksmith there is.
He said he wasn't like a ravaging sexual person.
Luke's then going to turn to.
Nathan just kind of,
Sorry, go ahead.
Nathan waves at the new guy, just kind of says, "Sup."
He just kind of knows where this place is. That's okay.
Apparently, he's used to working with our kind. He's from Hong Kong.
So what was the deal with Hong Kong?
I'm not allowed to tell you. Like for real. School will track me down and murder me in my bed if I do.
That seems like overkill.
If I could tell you, then you'd know it's not, but I can't. So you
Seems
won't.
pretty practical to me.
Xavier's going to use his ocular computer to text Luke, basically just saying, "Didn't we explain? Didn't we basically go through a step-by-step process of what happened about 35 minutes ago?" Question mark.
We did. He never actively talked about it. This is through text through the iPad. You and I only know what happened because of Sarah Jane.
This is indeed fair. But yes, he is. We were asked to be as cordial as we could to all those who survived the disaster in Hong Kong. So, Mr. Adams is our guest this evening with Carnifex.
No one asked me that.
I beg your pardon?
He said nobody asked me that.
Then perhaps you should speak to Adept Harcourt.
I think Harcourt wanted me to know something that had told me anything. It's just another check. Still makes sense.
Luke's just gonna shrug and bring over another Coke. Just kind of watching everybody.
So we've got an influx of people from a different place.
Well,
how does that affect?
Well, he's with the people up in the north. He's just down here because he was walking around and saw the shop.
That doesn't trouble you?
What do you say?
That doesn't trouble you?
No. Not particularly. If it was one of the Bites, it might trouble me.
What?
You know, the grr, arg, fangy type.
No, they're getting.
Stop triggering my fugue states.
Teos Nimbrios Nosferatus, to be exact.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
Oh no.
So I roll for fugue states.
I can really confirm or deny the supposition of the existence of that species.
Hold on. Go ahead, Tiger.
I rolled for my fugue states for the third time this game because people keep triggering me, and I failed. So Nathan just all of a sudden.
I'll let you spend willpower long enough to get the hell out of there.
Okay, yeah. He just immediately just like fucking grabs his water, drains it, and then makes a mad dash for the door.
Luke's gonna say, "Bye, come back anytime," with a wave.
Xavier immediately scans to see if he's left something behind that might be incendiary or explosive.
I didn't leave anything behind.
So that's what they do then?
Luke's just gonna shrug and say, "I think somebody here broke them." Tiger, if you'd like,
Xavier,
you can intro your other character.
Yeah, okay.
I was just going to say, Xavier's just going to make a mental note. Apparently talking about vampires or the undead around Nathan, around Adams breaks him, or Nathan breaks him.
All he heard was biting things, and he automatically assumed red caps.
To be fair, I will point out, I also have nightmares about Grog's red cap, but continue.
Not over open channel, please.
So another person will walk in with cut short brown hair and like a nice button up and ratings. That was lucky.
Luke will look over at this individual. Are you part of the party?
I think so.
Oh, my spirit side is up for the scene, so I will see that he has the sparkly, or he has the mage sparkly aura.
Yep.
He will turn. Xavier will turn to Luke. He'll when somebody else walked in, he'll immediately have thrown the hood fully over his face to hide it, and he'll say, "Yes, Luke, this is one of us."
Luke will nod. Look, can I get you some coffee, tea, a pastry? Take a look at the menu. Let me know if you want anything.
He'll look up and ask for an Earl Grey and a Napoleon.
He'll go to work getting him his Earl Grey and his Napoleon, and they'll come out in decent time, and everything will be good and yummy.
Yeah. British cuisine isn't like American cuisine. Customers always right, isn't that? Like, it's weird. I'll tell you off camera. It's a thing.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, Billy. Well, he looks confused, looking at the door behind you, and then she'll focus on him. Hi, with a very pleasant smile.
Hello.
Welcome to this fine establishment, sir. The Society of Ether considers you our guest here, and he will give a polite little bow.
I should probably introduce myself. I am Jonathan Hilltop.
What was the name, Tiger, sorry?
Jonathan Hilltop.
Luke will just give a polite smile. My name's Luke Smith. I'm the son of the owner, as well as the person who takes care of everything when the rest of the party is here.
In that case, my name is Professor Xavier Rathholm of the Society of Ether. A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
So I'm assuming we're all in the know here then. I'm of the Celestial course.
Oh,
Really makes me face.
He's coming to ignore.
Convex doesn't say anything, but he does gesture with the coke and like a hey, how you doing kind of thing.
Nothing's kind of weird.
All this foot traffic in and out of here doesn't bother you and your mom, Luke?
What'd you say?
All this foot traffic in and out of here doesn't bother you and your mom or Luke or whatever?
No. Nope. We always make sure the place is perfect whenever we need it to. Besides, it's part of being a representative.
How do you mean?
Well, my mom is the ranking member of the traditions in the city, so she makes it a point to be a good representative for anybody who needs representation, or anybody who needs proper. What's what I'm looking for? You know, I'm bad with these social words. Hospitality.
Okay, social mannerisms can be taught.
Yes, but I really have to keep focusing on my superstring theory calculations.
Indeed. If the Bonneman Street Chantry is quite often used as a bona fide flop house for mages who are moving between places, one place to another, we like to create an environment where everyone contemplates his next words for a moment. Comfortable.
As long as they stay out of the places that they shouldn't be.
Once again, I had to clean it for 2 weeks. Never again. We have signs now.
He'll nod his head.
Really.
So Luke is going to look to Mr. Hilltop. He's going to say, "So, Mr. Hilltop, have you been in the city long?"
For a little bit, yes. I've mostly stayed in the church, though. So I haven't had a chance to get out and know people.
I'm glad you finally made your way out to enjoy some of my tea and the pastries that we make here.
He'll just kind of raise the cup and think that it's a promise.
Yep, it's true Earl Grey. Water poured to the leaves before boiling to prevent burning.
Yeah.
Once Carnifex goes through another Coca-Cola, he's going to bring over another one.
He does go through the quickly. He is powered by sugar.
Sugar and caffeine keeps the members of the OOH alert at all times until they crash.
Gotta look for that. He's like, so you're a forester, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. So there's bad things afoot. Don't let your guard down. Something's going on in the tube. We're gonna investigate it. Go.
He'll nod and say yes. I met with the couple that were telling me about that last night. Dakota and Anna, I believe they said their names were.
You front line or back line?
Still kind of like a little hand twister. I've been learning how to use the sword, but I'm still not very good with it.
There's hinting all around London.
I haven't had well, someone in my organization is teaching me.
That's fair.
We're gonna set up some kind of relay. Here we go.
What did you say, Marcus?
Well, one of the things that I'm worried about is when we do go, if something happens to us, the information that we do gain, I want to make sure it gets to somebody. So I was thinking we could set up some kind of either mental or technological relay system to at least to this place since everybody seems to feel comfortable with it. So as we lose nothing, and those that did not go with us can have a real time view of what went down.
That makes sense.
I'm back. What'd I miss?
Carnifex said that he would like to set up some sort of relay when we do go down to the tube, either via he goes via Ars Mentis, technological Google, so that people can watch real time what we do, and in case we die.
I don't know about you, Mr. Carnifex, but I have no intention of dying.
That's what happens.
Still, you always have to plan for death.
I think most people don't plan on dying. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I already have my funeral arrangements made. My husband won't have to lift a finger.
I'm not worried about there being much of a body left.
But yes, in theory, setting up a feed, quite an easy thing to do. If you wish it done, it can be done.
So we know how we're getting in. Are we getting out the same way?
One would assume so.
What's considered an acceptable level of violence for this place?
Well, the intention is to go there after hours, at which point the tube stations themselves will be inactive, the trains will have ceased to function, and most importantly, they will have deactivated the electric circuitry running through the tracks, meaning they'll be safe to walk. An acceptable level of violence is something that does not compromise the structural integrity of the tracks and/or the surrounding underground area.
So all of your groups have been notified that we're going to be taking this action, so just in case.
Define groups.
It's a loose term. Use it how you will. Does someone else other than you know that you're going?
Oh yes. We've informed the chair. It is her whim on if she decides to inform the rest of the traditions, but she is the senior seat, so she's been informed.
I told my teacher that we may require his assistance with some parts of it.
I'll ask.
You guys know where I can get a hold of Taser?
Taser?
Taser. Or a cattle prod, either one.
Oh yeah, I know actually there's an excellent website. They actually have knuckle tasers.
You know, on an out-of-character reference, those are illegal in the UK.
A lot of things are illegal in the UK.
I'm aware of this fact. Xavier will say, if you wish one, I can provide you one, sir.
Thank you.
He'll shrug. We're all in this together, as it were.
How do you get away with walking around looking like that?
You see him. What was that, Kim?
Lily said I haven't seen him outside.
I only very briefly step outside, sir, and that is in areas where there are limited lights, cameras, etc. But unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about my physical appearance. I apologize if you find it disturbing.
I don't find it offensive. I just worry that somebody else might decide to punch me in the face with it.
Ah, I see. As I've said, when we enter the tubes, there'll be no one there. I doubt even that I will have a look at the maintenance schedule and choose a day where they are maintaining a different part of the track.
That's what I mean to talk to you about. My issue is this. Based on the conversation I had with my worshipful master, it could be that there's many tiers of action going on in this thing. For instance, the schedule may be off, but that doesn't mean that somebody, something isn't on there watching. That's that's the part that I was going to touch base with you about, because I know you've already probably done, as a technological aspect of that person, you've probably already done your due diligence on schedules and camera angles and all that. But the problem that something out of the ordinary is most assuredly going on there. You said it yourself, the odd energy fluctuations and all that. So that's got me worried that there's something that's underneath something underneath the normal things that are actually going on.
Xavier will nod, contemplating, and he'll say, "Oh yes, I quite agree. Ultimately, that power is being generated there for a specific purpose. And the purpose is what we are hoping to ascertain. But ultimately, I believe that it is more of a priority to go there one way or the other. And if we encounter individuals along the way, then they will be suitably dealt with. I think that this area will more than likely be devoid of civilians, because if I was planning or indeed operating the device that required such magnitudes of power, I would not want John Q. Public simply walking in on it."
That's the other thing. I had a technological question for you.
Yes, sir.
I went home and I thought about it and what you said. So here's my question. And it's going to sound dumb because I don't know shit about technology. If power is being generated, and then again, where's it going? And can you track it from here?
So the issue that I had was literally all of the records pertaining to this space with the exception of the odd power fluctuations, and those were just gathered via our own data via the Society of Ether in our secured servers. Ultimately, every piece of public information on this topic has been erased, fine-combed. There's nothing left.
Ars temporis.
I beg your pardon, sir?
Time magic.
Yes, sir.
Could we not take another look if we take some of that sort of skill?
Xavier will say, "I highly suspect any individual who is capable of scrubbing the records as cleanly as these were scrubbed, and not only that, but was able to backward worm my own computer faster than I could stop. I believe that these individuals are likely to have put countermeasures in place to prevent just such an action, sir."
There's no harm in checking it.
That would depend on if you press upon something that they don't want pressed upon, in which case there can be rather a lot of harm in looking.
My question, my trepidation for a couple of reasons. One, we don't run. From what I understand, we do not seem to run a lot of frontline fighters. Or you have some sort of technological something or other that compensates for your issues. That being said, I would love to do as much research as much intelligence gathering as I can off-site before I go into the belly of the beast. Because you've done all of the normal technological research. Now, my question being, my issue is, there is other types of reconnaissance that can be performed based on the skills of other individuals, and I was wondering, had they done that?
Oh.
Have you tried a drone? Like just a little drone with a camera.
I can dispatch a drone if that is what you wish, miss.
No, I'm asking you if you tried it.
No, I haven't. I haven't tried it, no.
And I don't know how that sort of stuff works. My training is of a more different nature. So That's why I keep asking you questions, because I consider you an ally in this, and I was trying to make sure that I understood all the weapons that I had there. Because that is what I consider you, sir, a weapon.
One understands, sir.
I don't have training in technology either, but why not take advantage of our consensus-friendly technology?
Well, I mean, that was one avenue I was going to research. That was one I was going to go down. But the other avenue that I was going to go down was anyone who can look with eyes that are not look with their good eyes, and from a distance. Because I'd hate to step in there and for it not to be something that we could have scried out beforehand. I am shit at correspondence. I always have been. More of a punch the guy in the face right in front of the guy. But there are other people have other talents. I'm worried about, because can I ask you this question? Can you generate Xavier? Can you generate power and then send that power someplace else?
Yes, sir. Rather simply.
So I can generate an inordinate amount of power for something that's not in the place where I generated that power, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if I've got all that juice, and what am I going to use it for? What are some things that could power?
Xavier once again looks down at the power readings that he's saved onto his wrist computer, and he's just going to kind of make a quick mental tabulation of it. Brett, what is the kind of scale of power that the Aetheryte sensors picked up? Like, what could it, in theory, power?
It could power a weapon. It could power a powerful energy weapon. It could power a dimensional transporter. It could power a conveyance.
Okay, so we're in the realms of it could power hypertech as opposed to ordinary everyday people tech.
It would be low. Actually, the amount of power would be really kind of low for higher end hypertech. Like, it's not within power ratings that you've seen typically used by technocratic hypertech.
He'll say he'll look down at the readings on his data screen on his wrist, and he'll say, in all honesty, the power generator could have done a number of things. It could have opened a small rift between this realm and other dimensional trans spaces. It could have been used as a form of conveyance or to power a relatively large energy weapon. But then again, there are also relatively low power demands for what the technocracy would normally provide for these means. So that leads us to question on if these are technocratic in nature.
Well, since I hadn't seen a bunch of mirror shapes like the old guys talk about in the war, I really was kind of putting them to the side and thinking this is another party. My question being, and this is my final one before I know you, I ask lots of questions. It's a problem I have. Is same the same?
I beg your pardon?
Meaning, if it's generated as power and energy for powering electricity, for powering electrical devices and other power things, that same amount of power be converted into something else.
Yes, sir. The energy would merely have to be translated into another form of foci. So, for example, a suitably skilled enlightened individual could easily translate that power into, say, I believe you would know it as quintessence, if that was what they deigned to do.
Well, that's the thing about great works. They got to be powered by something. So, the great work, if I had a great big bunch of juice, but I didn't have enough people to power it, I would just create a big giant juice ball right there and convert it into this, and then use it for what I needed. Same effect, right? It worked out, right?
He contemplates for a few moments and he says, "In a manner of speaking, yes. However, I believe that you are more than likely correct in your intimations that it was not the Technocratic Union. As I've said, they tend not to be so interested when it comes to minor displays of elliptical power. They would simply generate enough. They would also more than likely not generate the power needed via the London Underground's own power generation. They would have used their own power sources. They have no need to generate power from elsewhere. The same if it had been a member of the society, my own organization. We would have more than likely generated power from our own means as opposed to going to the London Underground. So, what we are looking for are an individual who more than likely uses some kind of technological paradigm because they had the mental and they had the mental elliptical knowledge to alter the flows of energy without burning out the circuitry. Inherently, that means that they understand something of technology. Who were not able to access their own source or means of power generation.
We'll also have gangs of people who are technologically savvy.
Correct.
And some sort of sleeper agency within the Metropolitan Police Force.
Some sleeper organization who make the hacker group Anonymous look like they are getting their first computer at age 10, sir.
Why you say that?
I am very good when it comes to coding, sir. I am very good when it comes to what you refer to as correspondence I call data. I am very good at it. As a matter of fact, you asked, how do I transport myself around without being seen? That is the answer. However, ultimately, they were able to backwards spike my computer, overcome its firewalls, which I assure you are extensive, and were worming my data before I was forced to do an emergency shutdown and and digitize my computer and send it to the bottom of the Thames in order to keep this place safe. That shows that they have an immensely canny sense of computer actualization.
I just turn them off. But okay.
And if you did, you think like a man who was always about to be prepared for combat, sir. If I may give some advice, if you do that with the Technocratic Union, you will be found and dead before you can raise your eyes above your phone.
If I do what?
Just turn it off. He looks entirely serious about that.
If I do what?
If you just turn off your phone, they will find you and they will kill you.
I have a phone.
I believe we have gotten rather off point, sir.
I don't understand you want it. I appreciate you care about my safety, but I don't understand you want it.
The technocrats and other technological magi are very good at using the various different locator services that are provided by the modern cell phone in order to ascertain not only your location, but also, in their own way, your temporal, physical, and indeed astrological umbral identity. Meaning they can quite literally have an agent walk up behind you or imprint himself behind you and slit your throat before you can move. If they desire to do so.
So can we.
I beg your pardon?
So can we.
Not as easily.
I don't mean just the order of Hermes. I mean the traditions as a whole.
Yes, sir. No worries, Brett. I don't think we're going to go too much longer. Go and do the sleep thing.
Yeah. Well, after that, yeah. So he's like, okay, I've asked all the questions that I need to ask. in order to prepare for the trip. I would touch where you, as you seem to be the quartermaster for this thing, I touch base with everybody that you knew was going to go to make sure they have what they need.
Yes, sir. Is there anything you yourself require?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
His eyes, if you look very closely, you see a tiny, tiny little lens flick over one of his eyes. Just give me a moment. I have to roll a thing. Rolling a thing, rolling a thing. Da-da-da, rolling a thing. Ah, crap. I need to put the space between the things. Awesome. That's more than enough successes. He just knocked on his prime sight. Do you have anything that is infused with prime on your personage?
No.
Okay. He'll say, well, sir, if you don't mind my saying so, perhaps I may be able to acquire you clothing that is more resistant than cloth. Sir?
Well, that's okay. Thanks, sir.
If you're sure.
No, I do armor.
Very well, then. Xavier will, at this point, kind of nod his head to Luke, who's stepped into the back room, we shall say, and he'll say, in that case, sir, if you wouldn't mind excusing me, the hour has grown late and I need to see to my preparations.
As you like.
I will, has he gotten Carnifex's number?
It's a number. It's a number to the room of the champion. Yeah, it's a landline number. You can that.
Okay, cool. In that case, he will once again nod his head deeply before saying, if you need to contact me, this is the most secure line. And he will basically provide you with a small business card that has a cell phone number on it.
Roger that. Thank you for your assistance.
And if you can think of anything you may require before we launch this endeavor, do let me know.
That I will.
And with that, Xavier will step into the men's bathroom, because that's how he leaves scenes, apparently. Anyway, thank you, players, for playing. If we have any watchers, thank you for watching. This has been another scene in London Madness. Have a pleasant evening, y'all.